How's she going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's Workshop. Today's video is about a few little add-ons I made on my workbench, on my new workbench. So let's check those out right quick. So this is the end of the bench, and it's open right now between the bench top and the shelf that I built. I'd like to cover that in with something. I don't know what. I had some smart panel over here that I thought I could use, and that would certainly work, but that's a nice piece of smart panel. I'm sure I could come up with some other use for it. And then I found some pegboard that I had, and I think the pegboard might be handy because I want to hang, maybe hang my my angle grinders on the end of the bench here. So I'm going to try and make a frame to fit in this opening and hold the pegboard. Now the pegboard is going to be in two pieces, but that's okay. That should fit in there just nice. So one other addition I made to the bench this morning was I added this power bar. So that just screwed on the front of the bench there. And the wire goes down underneath and over to that plug. Just reaches perfect length. How about that? So that's going to work good too, eh? So this frame I want to make to go on the end of the workbench, I need it to be 1.5 inches thick, or I'd like to be 1.5 inches thick, to match the thickness of the 2x4 that it's going to fit against. So I don't have any dressed lumber around, but I do have this rough cut piece that's about 1 3/4 inch thick. It's got some really wobbly sides on it, so I'm going to run it through the saw here just to try to trim up the sides. So let's just set this fence about like so, and we're just going to rip. See, it's got a pretty wobbly side on it, so we're going to try and trim up the sides before we start ripping it. Okay, so now we're going to put that more or less flat side against the fence. And trim up this side. So that's a little better, not great. Because this is rough cut lumber, and it was not kiln dried, it's got a lot of cuts, a lot of hoops and waves and turns in it. But anyway, we're going to rip it 1 1/4 wide now. Make a bunch of strips 1 1/4. Now we've got 4 strips, so that should be more than enough to make our frame. But I need this to be 1.5 inches, so because it's so hoopy, I'm going to try and rip this to true up the sides on it this way as well. She's becoming more or less kind of halfway straight. We're going to set this to 1.5 inches and then cut the final sides. Okay, so there's my pieces. Now what I want to do is I need to cut a rabbet in them. Let me see, I'm going to use a couple of these pieces of pegboard, so I want to cut rabbets on them. It's going to go this way, so I'd like to cut the rabbet along here. Yeah. Go like that. And we don't need it that deep, that's for sure. That should be good right there. So I just took a little cut there and just going to see. That's pretty good. That's just about perfect, right like that. So cut these and then we'll start to cut them to length. Okay, since I'm going to be making this frame so that the pegboard is recessed into it, I can't just make rabbets like this and join the pieces together at the top, because you know, that gap would be there. So what I'm going to do is just cut a little rabbet at the end of this so that those two pieces will butt together, and it'll do away with that. So I have to cut this part out here as deep as that rabbet. Tidy this up a little with my chisel. So now this piece will fit in here, so that I'll have a continuous corner there for my masonite, or my pegboard. I mean. We'll do that with the other leg, and then we'll do it on the bottom and try to put them together. So we're going to be making a frame like this, right? And I'm going to glue the corners together, and then I have this pegboard, and what I want to do is cut my pegboard then to fit in there. So like I say, I'm going to have to cut it in two pieces. I don't know that it's imperative that we put glue in these joints, but I'm figuring I may as well. Eh? Sorry, if you can't see. And now the same on this one. Okay, that looks not bad. So I'm going to go try and fit that in the opening, and if it fits, we're going to set up and cut out the pegboard. So I took the frame out of the bench this morning. The glue's all dried up, so it's in good shape now. So then what I did was I spent some time cutting up some this pegboard. So that's going to go in there, and then this one is going to go in here. And I spent some time cutting it to try and get the gaps between these two holes the same. Now, this is an issue, right? So then, what I did was, I took a piece of just 2x2, and I had to trim that down just a little tiny bit, but now that should go in back here, and that'll be a support for this seam. So what I want to do, before I get too crazy here, is I'm just going to locate this cross piece, a couple of brads in it. Make sure that's where I want it. Alright, so that should hold that in place. Now this one goes here. So now we put a few more brads here to hold that. There. I don't think I moved enough stuff out of the way to get in here. It's a tight squeeze. Anyways, let's put this in place. That doesn't look too bad, you know. So I'm going to put that in with a couple of screws, 2 on this side, 2 on that side, a couple at the bottom, a couple at the top. That'll do me. So I'm sure a lot of shops have these pegboard clips hanging around somewhere. So I had a bunch of them. So that's going to go in there. It can hold a bunch of different stuff. One of the things I was thinking I could put on there would be my grinders, right? And I can take it around here and plug it in here. And then my grinder will always be at the ready. All right, so there's the final setup. Well, for now, I've got 2 grinders set on that end panel and then the various discs down below it. So I think that's going to be a good storage place for that. Easy to get to. Now, one of my concerns right now is that the drill press is quite close to the end of the bench and the grinders now. But as the shop improvement evolves, I'm going to be putting more sheathing down here to the right, moving my toolbox back there, so the drill press will be able to move further to the right, and then that'll give me some more space in here. So I don't think that tight space is going to be a big concern right now, because at some point down the road it'll get changed. So there, you know, a couple of little adds like that on the bench, it makes all the difference in the world. You got that power bar set up there now in the front, easy to plug tools into, and it's handy, it's out of the way, it's not going to be obstructive or anything. And then getting the grinders mounted on the end of the bench like that, made good use of that little pieces of pegboard I had left over. Little changes like that make all the difference. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think these are nice little adds? Don't forget, thumbs up me too, eh? Have a great week, folks, and we'll talk to you.